According to Billboard, 3 members of Linkin Park are mulling a possible 2025 reunion tour and are considering hiring a female vocalist to succeed late singer Chester Bennington. Booking agency WME is taking offers for a potential Linkin Park tour, along with headlining festival dates featuring Mike Shinoda, Brad Delson, and Dave Farrell, the source says. The band has not indicated who will sing on behalf of Bennington, who is often praised as one of the most gifted and durable vocalists of the 2000s, with a dynamic range tailor-made for the group's genre-bending style. One source told Billboard the band is hoping to find a female vocalist to front the reunited band, matching rumors that have been making the rounds in recent weeks. On March 30th, during an appearance on Wired in the Empire on KCAL 96.7, Orgy's Jay Gordon said he had heard rumors about a Linkin Park reunion. Very, very cool guys, and obviously a great band, he said. They've been around a long time, and they're still going for it. It's gonna be tough without Chester, but we'll see. I hear they got a girl singer now. That's what I heard. Gordon later issued a statement, saying his comments had been taken out of context, writing, "With regards to this Linkin Park singer thing, I know nothing about any of that." Earlier this month, Evanescence frontwoman Amy Lee shot down rumors that she might be a candidate for the lead vocal gig. On April 23rd, the singer told iHeartRadio Canada that while some Linkin Park fans have been voicing hopes for her to join the band, the group had not contacted her for the gig. "But that's awesome," she said. "They should ask me about that. I don't have a ton of free time, but I might do it part-time." Mike Shinoda was asked about a possible reunion around the April 14th release of Linkin Park's new album, Paper Cuts, telling Revolver magazine, "Rumors always go around. People always ask what's next for the band, and the best answer I can ever give anybody is when there's something to tell you, we will tell you. When there's an announcement to be made, it will be on linkinpark.com. If you're hearing it from somebody else, you can't trust that information as much as you want to trust it." Linkin Park is one of the most successful rock groups from the 2000s, having sold more than 29.4 million albums in the United States, according to REUNITE. The band has charted 24 songs on the Billboard Hot 100, including 3 top 10 hits. The band has also racked up 37.2 million US song downloads and a combined 11.6 billion official on-demand US streams. It has additionally charted 6 #1 albums on the Billboard 200, including One More Light, which debuted on May 17, 2017, 2 months before Chester Bennington took his own life. So there's definitely people on both sides of this, people who would like to see Linkin Park reunite with a new vocalist and continue to make music after a 7-year hiatus, or there's people who want to let the band rest in peace with Chester Bennington. Now, I can see both sides of the argument, and we've seen a lot of bands even in recent years where, vocalists will get replaced after they've passed away or after they've left. And sometimes not just vocalists, just other band members. The most recent example I can think of is Pantera. Dimebag Darrell passed away in 2004, Vinnie Paul in 2018, and then in 2022, it was announced that Phil Anselmo and Rex Brown were going to be touring with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Bennett, and they were going to be using the Pantera name for the first time in nearly 20 years. And some people were very excited about that, and some people lost their shit over that. And the big argument there was, without the Abbott brothers, there is no Pantera. And some people would say the same thing, without Chester Bennington, there is no Linkin Park. Sometimes when you take out a big piece of the band and try and replace it, it goes terribly. I think a prime example of that is, in the early 90s when Motley Crue decided to fire Vince Neil and replace him with John Corabi. It wasn't awful, but it just wasn't Motley Crue anymore. It was just a whole different band. And then there's instances where if you replace a band member, it can go right. And this is going to be a controversial take, but I think Alice in Chains did this perfectly. After Lane Staley's death in 2002, the band went on a hiatus, and then in 2005, they started to perform at benefit concerts and things like that, but with no vocalist. They had Pat Lockman from Damageplan for a bit. That was right after Dimebag Darrell's death, so he was out of a job, and they formed up and they started doing shows together. Eventually, after Alice in Chains used all these stand-in vocalists like Maynard James Keenan and James Hetfield and all these guys who would just come in for a one-off appearance, one of the guys who did a one-off appearance was William Duvall. And that actually ended up working, and they stuck with that. And I think the reason most Alice in Chains fans do not hate the new Alice in Chains is because William Duvall is not trying to be Lane Staley, he's trying to be William Duvall. And that's what works. You cannot have a guy come in and replace another band member and just, try and be that band member. It does not work. You can't replace somebody once they're gone. There's the Alice in Chains with Lane Staley, there's the Alice in Chains with William Duvall. They're both very good, and both their music is excellent in its own way. I think Linkin Park should do the same thing. I would actually like to see Linkin Park do something to carry on Chester Bennington's legacy, the same way Alice in Chains did with Lane Staley. You don't bring in someone to outright replace that person, but the same thing going back to the thing with William Duvall. He came in there and they got back together as a band to honor the legacy of Lane Staley. Linkin Park could bring in, I like the idea of the female vocalist, bring in Amy Lee from Evanescence. That would be a perfect choice. Have her come in and just be Amy Lee. She's not going to be Chester Bennington, she's going to be Amy Lee. And I think that could work really, really well. I think that could work not only to do live shows, but to record new material altogether. We have not had anything new from Linkin Park in 7 years. If done right, this can work perfectly. And it's all about honoring, that vocalist like Chester Bennington, who is no longer with us. Alice in Chains' first album back, after losing Lane Staley, was a tribute album to him, and it was awesome, and it got a lot of praise from a lot of Alice in Chains fans who were not happy with them getting a new vocalist. I personally stand on the side where I think if it can continue Linkin Park's legacy, then they should bring in a new vocalist. That's just my take on it personally. You guys can go in the comments below and, say your piece and let me know if you think Linkin Park should continue or if they should just remain inactive. I think it would be really cool to see Linkin Park make a big comeback in honor of Chester Bennington, but that's again my opinion. So anyways, thank you guys. See you later.